Gemara said, the question is, how come there was a Shlomo HaMelech made a takana that on the day of the inauguration of the Bet HaMikdash was Yom Kippur, but he says this is such a big day that we don't have to fast. We don't have to fast, and everyone ate a big feast on that day. And the Gemara in Masechet Moed Katan discusses this, where some people were very scared. Wait a minute, we just ate on Yom Kippur. It's Din Karet. Maybe we took it too far. Maybe we should have eaten Motzei Shabbat. Maybe we should have eaten tomorrow. Why do we dafka have to do with that? And they didn't listen. They didn't have 100% comfort listening to Shlomo HaMelech's Da'at Torah. Shlomo HaMelech says this is Da'at Torah. This day is such a big day. We just put a house for HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. By putting this house, by putting this Bet HaMikdash in the world, and having a place for the Shekhinah to be at all times, that is the ultimate tikkun of the world. Yom Kippur is a tikkun for that year. But to have the Shekhinah, we can do TeShuva every day, on the spot. We can know what Hashem wants every day, on the spot. We can fix everything, every day, on the spot. Why? We have the Bet HaMikdash. We have the Shekhinah is here. It's such a big day that Yom Kippur can be skipped this year. That was Da'at Torah. And the people had a uncomfortable time listening to this Da'at Torah because it was so far. So in order to fulfill his own words, where Kadosh Baruch Hu says that he makes the righteous right among the public, meaning if his Chachamim say something, even if that something is wrong, Hashem will make it right. Hashem will make it right. I'll give you guys an example. It's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about, where you'll understand what is Da'at Torah, because that's actually one of the problems that we have today, is that people think that if, let's say, Rav Kanievsky says something, or the Steipler Gaon's father said something when he was alive, or Rav Wasserman, Alav Shalom, said something, or Rav Ovadia, when he said something, or someone that's even alive today, but is a Gadol B'Torah, has Yirat Shamayim, he said something, you can just say, I don't have to listen to him. I can maybe listen to somebody else. Like the doctor said, everybody has to wear a mask. Rav Kanievsky said that you don't have to wear a mask if you're learning Torah. If you're learning Torah in yeshiva, the specific people that he was talking to, you don't have to wear a mask. No, but Rav Kanievsky, no way. Doctors know more than Rav Kanievsky. So people have a misunderstanding of Rav Kanievsky, Da'at Torah, and doctor. Why? They think that the doctor knows better than Rav Kanievsky, because he's a doctor. So the mistake is that people compare the Torah to secular subjects, and this is also part of the reason of why many people in perhaps, let's say, the modern Orthodox world and the just regular secular world have a impossible time being glued to Hashem as He wants it, but rather customize the Torah to fit their own life. You know, they accept Shabbat, but whenever they feel like it. They accept Kashrut, but their own standards, not Da'at Torah standards. Why? Because they don't think that Da'at Torah, that the opinion of the Torah, the opinion of the Chachamim, is really a, firm opinion of Hashem. They think He is human, I am human. The Rambam is human, I am human. So why should I listen to him? That's the mistake. Now, to take it even deeper, before we get to the answer, the Gemara in Masechet Eruvin, page 13, says there's machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. There are over 300 machlokets between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel in the Shas, something around 360 machlokets between them. Most of them, halacha goes like Bet Hillel. Most of them. But Chachamim say that in Olam HaBa it goes like Bet Shammai. After Mashiach comes, Bet Shammai. Most of them. But needless to say, the Gemara here says that Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel had a machloket. Halacha is like Bet Hillel in this particular machloket, but Zeh v'zeh divrei Elokim Chaim. Both this and this are the words of the living God. So, this is confusing. Why? If they're both words of the living God, why is Hillel right? Why is halacha like Hillel? Shouldn't it be halacha like both of them? If it's both the words of Hashem, why is there machloket? This question was asked over 800 years ago, almost 700 years ago, by the Ritva, Rav Yom Tov ben Arsevili. The Ritva comments on this Gemara, and he says the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, where the Gemara says that both of these words are the words of the living God, yet the halacha is like Hillel. So the question is, how could both be the words of the living God if the halacha is like one of them? Whether it's Hillel or Shammai doesn't make a difference, but how could they both be the words of the living God? And the Ritva answers one of the most important questions and answers that we have to understand Judaism and the right ideology. Hashem left certain judgments open for the Chachamim to conclude and paskin, to become Da'at Torah, to the point where there's a rule of Lo B'Shamayimi, meaning that there are certain halachot that we do not learn from Shamayim, but rather we only learn from the Chachamim. The Chachamim have to paskin on this issue. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not give us the Torah complete. Rather, He left certain parts of it open for interpretation by Moshe Rabbeinu, by the Chachamim, until this day, to make us partners in the Torah. So much so, that there are certain things that happen in the Gemara, and a bat kol says, this is what the halacha is. And Chachamim said, no, we don't learn from bat kols. We learn from the rules that Hashem gave us at Mount Sinai of how we paskin halacha. So Lo B'Shamayim means we don't learn the Torah from heaven this way. We learn it based on the principles that Hashem gave us at Mount Sinai of how to paskin halacha. And unless there's something that's black and white that we already know from Moshe Sinai, that we know, there are certain things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu left open for interpretation by the Chachamim that are using these rules in order to paskin. So much so, the Ritva continues, that once the Chachamim paskin here, this becomes the halacha in Shamayim. Meaning, if, let's say, the halacha in Shamayim that Hashem left for interpretation, but obviously Hashem knows what the halacha is. Let's say He picked red. He picked red in Shamayim, but He left it for interpretation for the Chachamim here. And the Chachamim used the tools that they have, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us, and they arrived at blue. They arrived, halacha is blue. At that moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu changes the halacha in Shamayim. Why? That's the rule. That's the rule that He instilled into the world. Now, to give an example of this, the Midrash comments on the verse in the book of Psalms, chapter 57, verse number 3. Ekra le'elokim elyon le'el gomer alai. I will call upon God Most High, to the God who fulfills for me. Where the Midrash says that this verse is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us that when you call upon Him, you honor Him, you fulfill His Torah, you learn, you toil it is God who fulfills for me. Meaning that Hashem agrees with the Chachamim with their psak. Even if His psak originally, that He left for us for interpretation, even if His psak is different, He fulfills our words. Meaning He now repaskins in Shamayim because of what the Chachamim did over here. And the Midrash says there's an example. There's a rule in the Gemara that says that if lo aleinu lo alechem, a little girl has a accident or chas v'shalom gets raped, and before the age of 3 years old, and obviously this breaks the hymen. Now, the Gemara says, the Chachamim concluded that if it's before 3 years old, the hymen reconstructs and comes back as if nothing ever happened. If it obviously it stops, doesn't continue again after 3. If it's, let's say, happens before 3 years old, Hashem built the world in such a way that the hymen will reconstruct, and when she is older, as if nothing happened. But if it happens after 3 years old, if the hymen is broken after 3 years old, that's it. It remains broken. Remains broken. So then the Chachamim ask, okay, but what about a Shana Meuberet, a leap year? A leap year. Why? Because a leap year, it's when we have Adar Sheni. We add, the Chachamim, 7 times every 19 years, they add a second Adar. 2 Adars. There's 1 Adar, but they add Adar Bet. Now who decides this? The rabbis, the sages decide it. Not Hashem. Hashem left it for us, and the sages decided, Hillel put a mathematical calculation until Mashiach comes, that we already know ahead of time, every year that's going to have 2 Adars. But back in the times of the Gemara, they used to decide this based on their own calculations at real time. Now we already have it known for until Mashiach comes. But at that time, they used to conclude when the month began, when the month ended, based on the moon, based on the renewal of the moon. But that also means that the Sanhedrin would decide which year they would add a 13th month. And this was happened 7 times every 19 years. This is, you see all the details of this in Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah. Now, the question is, when it pertains to this rule, that's a physical rule. Meaning, there's a physical thing here. There's a girl, and something physical happened there, a trauma happened there, an accident of some kind, it broke her hymen, but you're saying that if she's below 3 years old, it reconstructs. If she's above 3, it doesn't reconstruct. So what happened if the day of her birthday, the Midrash says, the day of her birthday, the day she turns 3, the Sanhedrin paskins, no, we are going to have a second Adar. We're going to add, on that moment, we're going to add a 13th month. So technically, she's 3 years old she's less than 3 years old for another month. She's still technically in her 2s. So does the hymen take that into consideration? The Midrash says, absolutely. Hashem changes nature and will reconstruct this girl physically for the sake of showing that the Chachamim are right. That's how valuable that Torah is in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's how valuable it is. So when we see that Am Yisrael is glued to Hashem, you see that they are, what does that mean, glued to Hashem? You're glued to Dat Torah. People that think that they could just connect to Hashem and ignore the Chachamim, just like listen to them when they want, not listen to them when they don't want, they have no idea what they're talking about. There is no such thing as an intermediary in Judaism, but Chachamim are not intermediaries. Chachamim are simply telling you what Hashem said. Because you don't know what He said. Because you did not toil over the Torah for all of the decades that they had. You cannot interpret the Torah like they can. And that's the reality. If you think you can, then ego is your problem. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is willing to change nature for the Chachamim. He's not necessarily willing to change nature for some average Joe. Because those Chachamim, they're His representatives. They're the ones that He relies on to give the message to the rest of us. And they're such favor in His eye. He loves the Chachamim so much that He literally changes the world for them. They say something, He fulfills it. And this is one of the most valuable things that a person needs to know when they're asking a Talmid Chacham, someone that has Yirat Shamayim, or perhaps a Gadol. They're asking a question, and the response that they got doesn't sit well with them. Take that opinion of yours that tells you this response doesn't sit well with you. Take it, crumble it inside a little piece of paper, put some oil on it, cooking oil or the oil from the car, whichever one you prefer, whatever's faster access. Then take a match, perhaps maybe a lighter, depending on your preference. Put them in a bucket so it doesn't cause a big fire, and burn that opinion of yours. Burn it as soon as possible. Why? Your opinion doesn't matter. If you asked a Chacham a question and he gave you an answer according to the Torah, you do it just like as if God said to do it. Why? Because now that you've asked the question and he gave you an answer, HaKadosh Baruch Hu paskins like him. I'll give you an example. Somebody came to Rav Kanievsky. He said, Kvod Rav, I'm about to retire in some months, and I was wondering whether I should take all my pension money and buy a house in this such and such community. Rav Kanievsky says to him, come back to me when you have the money. Now Rav Kanievsky is not much of words. He doesn't have conversations with people. He says a few things, finish, next. The guy gets up, confused, more confused than he was before. He says, why is Rav Kanievsky telling me come back when I have the money? Is he really telling me that I'm not going to get the money? That after 30, 40 years of working for this company, they're really not going to give me my pension? The whole thing is a fraud? I'm going to lose everything? What's going to happen? I don't know. Why did he say it? Oh, so for the next several months, he doesn't know where to go, doesn't know what to do. He can't wait to get this money, but he doesn't have access to it yet. After several months, finally he retires, and he gets the money. He comes back to Rav Kanievsky, and he says, Kvod Rav, Baruch Hashem, I got the money. So Rav Kanievsky says, good, you should buy the house. He said, but why couldn't the Kvod Rav tell me 6 months ago? So Rav Kanievsky says to him, 6 months ago, it was a hypothetical question because you didn't have the money in your hand. So I didn't have the siyata dishmaya, the special assistance from heaven, to tell you the right answer. I only had my opinion. But now that it's a question that's actual, because you have the money in hand, you ask me a question, I'm giving you an answer, and I'm relying on the fact that Hashem is the one that's putting the words in my mouth for your sake. Because now it's an actual question. It's a realistic question. It's a question of right now. It's not a hypothetical question anymore. So now I have the answer for you. 6 months ago I didn't have an answer for you. Now I have an answer for you. You ask a Rav something, it's a real question, he give you an answer, you don't like the answer, that's too bad. Why? If you are not going to listen to the answers, don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. And this is one of the things that hurts a lot of people, because they look for Rabbi Noach. You know what Rabbi Noach is, right? You guys ever hear Rabbi Noach? Noach is not only Noach from the Torah. Noach also means comfort. So they're looking for the rabbi that is going to give them the most comfort, meaning whatever is comfortable for you. So what did he say? Do it? No, that's not comfortable for me. What did he say? Maybe? That's not so comfortable for me. What did he say? No, do whatever you want. Oh, I like this guy. This guy's Gdol Ador. He told me I could do whatever I want. This guy, tzaddik, kadosh. Give me a hand. Let me kiss it. Let me kiss it. Well, he told me I could do whatever I want. This guy's like Noach. Rabbi Noach. So that's the thing. You have to understand. Kadosh Baruch Hu loves the Chachamim. Because they invest their whole life. For the sake of the Torah all day. And when a person understands that, he asks a question, he receives an answer, and he goes with it. Same thing with girls, obviously, same thing. Next question, we're almost done. Okay, Chabad.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new Bezrat Hashem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app, full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the Shiurim that we do, myself, Rav Ephraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our Kiruv and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Call to B'chava Tzlacha.